Love, light, and blessings. This is Shamanic, our priestess here. And I wanted to make a different type of video, so I've been making a lot of serious videos, other than like a haul video that I did. But I've been talking a lot about the virus, and I've still been working full time, so I'm still doing full time readings and spell work and all that stuff because thank goodness that I'm someone who stocks up on spiritual supplies because I do have a pretty much my spirit room could literally be a botanica because I'm well stocked up. You know, I have an actual like store in my home. I haven't gone online with my store, but people can come to my house and purchase things and stuff like that because I have my online clients and I also have local clients and things like that. But another video for another day. Um, I've also been lighting candles and things like that. One of my recent videos I talked about using a white novena candle, and you can join me for a community spell to just send some healings and things like that. If you want me to elaborate more on that, I can make a separate video specifically about the community spell that I mentioned, which was in the video, how to cope with the you know what, the virus that's going around right now. And so my recent videos have been demonetized because of it, which I'm not regretting making those videos. But this video, I wanted to switch up the energies. I wanted to do something positive because part of self-care is also detaching oneself from negativity. And I noticed, like, I had a really wonderful client reads and things like that on Friday, but I also had, oh, my coffee. Drinking coffee. Enjoy every moment. Sundays are my day off, and I wanted to make this video because Friday was like a really bad day. Um, it was just very negative. It was very toxic. I just was around a very toxic, negative energy. I had to block this person, and we'll have a story time about it. But I'm taking care of the issue in the mundane life, but I'm also taking care of the issue with the spirits. That's all I'm gonna say, um, and things like that. So, but we're gonna have a story time because I feel like there's a lesson to learn in that situation. I should have listened to the dream that I had about said person and my overall, not just psychic into like not just my psychic feelings and what my guides were telling me, but also my intuition, which we all have intuition. We all have that gut instinct of knowing when something is wrong. Anyways, so moving on from that, I'm going to literally make a fun tag today that I've been wanting to make for months and for some reason just never did. And I'm going to link the original channel where I saw this tag at. And it's basically a tarot tag. I don't do a lot of tags because I don't get to record a lot. I only get to record videos maybe once a week, 2 times a week if I'm lucky. Usually on the weekends, and I like to spend that time with my family. But I felt like I wanted to put a positive video. It's not deflecting or pretending like nothing's going on in the world, but I feel like sometimes we have to disconnect from all the negativity and all these things, especially in these last days where this is really hitting home for me, and I've been doing some healing for people that have personally been affected by this situation. So I just wanted to do, and I've been doing a lot of heavy readings and all that kind of thing. I just wanted to do something kind of fun, just something fun. I've even found myself disconnecting from the news. And like I said, Friday, I had a very negative experience. I had to literally cleanse myself and detox. That person just, oh, it was just a really heavy, nasty energy, very low vibrational energy. So I took care of that in the spirit world, but I'm also taking care of it in the mundane world. But a story for another day. So this tag is for favorites. Forevers, and Forgotten. So I'm going to do two separate ones. I'm going to do the Tarot edition and the Oracle edition because I don't want to be here all day and things like that. So I will be making a part 2, and I tag anyone who wants to participate in this tag. I feel like it's a good way to go through your collection and see what decks are currently your favorites, you know. I have more than what I'm going to show, but I pick like my tops, like I said, or I'll be here forever. So I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I picked 6 favorites. Then I have my forevers, which I believe is my longest bunch. And then last but not least, the decks that are forgotten, the decks that have been left by the wayside. For some reason, you're just not really using them, and so on and so forth. So, kind of, it's been very interesting the decks that I pulled out and things like that. So, okay, so let's start the video. I've wasted like 6 minutes already. Okay, so for my favorites, which to me are like the newest decks that I've been working with, that I've actually had a connection with, and I've quite enjoyed working with them. And I had to mention this one. The Hoodoo Tarot is my current favorite deck. So much so that I made a not only a walkthrough of this deck, I also did a follow-up review. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And because that's how much I completely and utterly love this deck. A lot of the people mentioned in this deck, come to realize, were featured in my 29 Days of Melanated Excellence before this deck was even released, or I got a copy of it. I already was able to see a connection with it. Like, I don't believe in coincidences, so the fact that I featured people on this deck without even ever having had this deck in my hand, without ever having known who were going to be featured, I did not see any imagery of said people and things like that. It's just a sign that this deck is really, truly a soul deck, and I definitely have a soul connection to it. So yeah, I really, 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 really love this deck so much. And I'm so happy that I got it. Definitely the Hoodoo Tarot is a favorite. I love this deck because it's actually such a great tribute to African American hoodoo practices and conjure, and I just think it's amazing. Like I said, the fact that I mentioned some of the archetypes and things like that on my 29 Days of Melanated Excellence, and I had never even seen the imagery on this deck, never had it in my hand. It wasn't even released when I made this video with this video series. And from the first time I did a reading, it was so powerful. I highly recommend that deck if you're someone who works in conjure and anything like that, because it's that good. Second deck I'm going to mention is the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. And this one is a chakra tarot that's divided into chakras. Oh, sorry. So you have 11 cards with the world card that it's like a rainbow kind of chakra. And it starts with the root chakra. I didn't think I was gonna like this deck. I had a dream about it, so I ended up getting it. Kind of like, why am I getting this deck? And so happy that I listen to my intuition, even though it does lack a diversity of all different kinds, other than it has male and female energies. Um, it reads really beautiful for me. And at the time that I got this deck, I wasn't really journaling anymore. I had lost my like passion for that, and I ended up journaling. I love the guidebook. This is one of my favorite cards. I love the guidebook. It is beautiful, and I love working with it. And this is beautiful too. This Five of Cups. Um, I love working with it. Um, it's a really great deck, and I get really great readings with it and things like that. But for the most part, it has been the actual passion that I've had for journaling with it, and also it has the best lovers card definition, and just really made me see the lovers card in a different perspective. So completely love it. These are the backs of it, and this is one of my current favorites as well, even though, like I said, it lacks diversity, which is usually a deal breaker recently for me for any type of modern decks. The classics, I don't hold them to the same standard, but for modern decks, I do. Okay, so, but this one is an exception to the rule. Another current favorite, and I got this with an exchange, is the Light Seers Tarot. This deck I love. It's a new acquisition, and that's kind of where I limited my favorites, anything that I've gotten this year pretty much, or like really the ending towards last year. And so this one, I've seen a lot of people have it and things like that. It wasn't a deck that was really calling to me. I'm not really one that likes modern decks, I'm gonna be honest. Theme decks I love, but like modern decks, I don't really work with that many. And bohemian and that kind of thing. Not really my aesthetics. I think that's what they like, that kind of thing. Like, but however, I love the cardstock in the mass-produced deck, and this deck is really, really good. And also, I tend to shy away from decks that are really popular. I'm just one of those people. I usually don't. I'm not drawn to like really popular decks and things like that. I have no idea why I am like that. I didn't even know this deck had a controversy with the Ten of Swords and stuff like that. Because I'm one of those people. I don't keep up a lot with newly released decks and things like that. So I really try to watch my deck buying and things like that. You know, I do have a space issue, and then I would have to get rid of something, but another video for another day. So anyway, so yeah, so even though I collect tarot, I do like to buy ones that I know I'm going to use. But this one was in a trade, and I'm so glad that I did a trade because it reads really well. It made me change my mind about contemporary decks. Maybe I need to start being more open to them. I really love this one for reading for myself, just like I love the Hoodoo Tarot for that and the Chakra Wisdom Tarot for that. But with the Chakra Wisdom and the Light Seers, I may someday use these for client reads. Not sure yet. Psychic Tarot Oracle deck is kind of a tarot and oracle, but I decided to include it here. Is a new favorite. But I feel like it's also kind of can also be considered a forever, because I got rid of this deck and ended up falling back in love with it. This one also has chakra colors and chakra cards, and things like that. But this is one of the first decks I ever owned when I was expanding my practice. For those of you that are new, I started off reading playing cards and then went into tarot. And there's a whole video. There's plenty of videos on that on my channel that I talk about that. But yeah, this is one of my first tarot decks. The Angel Tarot, this one, and the Robin Wood and things of that nature. So the decks that I first pretty much learned on exclusively, and things of that nature. But yeah, I ended up giving this away to someone who was getting into divination. And you know, because I had stopped using it and it became like a forgotten deck, and I regretted it because recently I've been really missing it, so I ended up repurchasing it. I wish I would have kept my first copy because it was gilded and it had way better card stock in it. And I noticed that the card stock is a bit thinner, and this one tends to actually chip more, so kind of disappointed with the quality of this deck. But I still love it. It reads so well, and I've been using it, and things like that. Like, I've been just loving using it and remembered that connection. So it kind of made me wonder if I should get rid of decks that I stopped using or that have become forgotten, and instead kind of just let them sit for a while and be more careful about getting rid of decks like that, because then who wants to repurchase a deck, you know? The Herb Crafter's Tarot is another deck that is one of my favorites, and it's a recently acquired deck. These are the beautiful backs, and I completely love this deck as a healer, as someone who works various Afro-Caribbean and Afro-American practices, as well as, you know, indigenous practices, shaman, you know what I mean, for my native indigenous roots, and things of that nature. Herbs are a very big part of my practice. I work more with herbs than I do with crystals and things like that. So I work a lot with the earth. And so this deck, I love it because it's so earthy, and I love that this culanderia in here feels very espiritista, which is a very big part of my childhood growing up. You know, I grew up around a lot of spiritualists from the islands and things like that. And another favorite is the Giant Rider-Waite. This one I got in 2019, but it was towards like the end, and I love this one for the purposes of studying the symbology, which is something that is a goal of mine during this death year, which I need to start getting back into. With all the current stuff that's been going on, I've kind of let that go. But yeah, so I'm going to be going back to that. Oh, these are the bags. And so I got it giant, not because I'm planning to use it for readings. I've never even shuffled this deck. It's more so for study purposes and things of that nature. So it's in a certain order because it's the order in which I want to study the cards, and things like that. So yeah, so that one. So those are my current favorites. So we're going to move on to my forevers. Okay, so now the next category is going to be, so we've done the favorites. Now we're going to go into the forevers. I was like, what's the next one? So favorites, forevers, and then the last one will be the forgottens. Okay, so the forevers, and this one was hard to do because I love the decks in my collection, all of them, but which ones are the ones that I plan to keep around forever. So the Arcana playing cards. You can see I use these like, yeah. But I love this because while the major arcana is illustrated, the minor arcana are playing cards. And like I said before, I started off with playing cards. And you have your regular court cards, your pages, your queen, your kings. So I love the infusion, and all the aces are illustrated. I love the infusion of playing cards and tarot because I love cartomancy. And I do use this deck both for myself and clients, which is something I really do. But this one is an exception to the rule. I completely love it. This is an indie. You can get it from Dead on Paper. I'm gonna try to see if I could post the link. If you guys are interested, I can give you guys the link to this video, to this deck. So if you're interested in ordering it, but this is the Dead on Paper, and I have a walkthrough of this deck on my channel. But yes, Arcana playing cards, I completely love this deck. Have loved it since the first day I gotten it, and it's definitely a forever deck because it infuses my two favorite things in the whole wide world when it comes to divination. Okay, the next one I'm gonna talk about is, so Lenormand wasn't something that I was really called to. It wasn't that I couldn't read it or anything. It's just I wasn't drawn to it. But this deck that I saw on Mystic Soul's channel, I believe, and this one I saw in Soul's Journey. She reminded me that there was a cartomancy deck out there, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that deck because I had seen it years ago on Kelly's and Truth and Story. So didn't even know it was still in print. This is Under the Roses Lenormand. And I had did a VR to decks that spell the T, and this, oh my goodness, she was right when she said that. Once I got this deck, I started being drawn to Lenormand. I use this deck on others and myself as well, and I love it. I don't know, kind of seeing myself there when I straightened my hair, but anyways. So yeah, so I love the diversity in this deck and the modern, like the way everything looks. Like I just love it. It's my favorite Lenormand deck. I don't have that many. I have like 3, but this is my favorite of the 3, and it busted me wide open. Like it literally made me change my mind about Lenormand, and I realized that I do actually resonate with Lenormand. So this definitely is a forever one. Another deck that's a forever deck is the Odisha Tarot. I'm not crazy about the court cards, but I love the portrayal of the Odishas on this one. I love how colorful the deck is. I love the guidebook. It's just a very well done deck, and I completely love it. It has patakis in it, stories of the Odishas, and things like that. So yeah, if you're interested in Odishas and things like that, I definitely and highly recommend this deck. It's really great. They rarely have any representation of Santeria or any type of Odisha practice, so I highly recommend it. Really do. It's really good. I like it so much I bought 2 copies at once in case it ever went out of print and things like that. And I use this deck a lot for journaling and for readings for myself. This is a very like personal deck. And I try to be really careful with her. Like, she's just special. She's really special. She's like how I feel about the Hoodoo Tarot. Like, it's just those special decks, you know. Another deck, oh my goodness, that I love that I wasn't even gonna get until my daughter told me to get it, was the African American Tarot, because it's gotten so many unfavorable reviews. This one connects and has a lot of Africa and African deities infused with recent, in the minors, like recent people and historical figures, Africa and historical figures of African American descent. So I love how they tie the motherland, also how they tie the past to the present, and show the beautiful diversity that is the African diaspora, which I think that should have actually been the name of the deck, the African diaspora, but that's just me. But I love the deck. I love the artwork. I love it. I love it. I love it. It reads really well for me. This one is also a very personal deck that I like to research the historical figures on it. This is one of the decks that inspired the 29 Days of Melanated Excellence when I started learning about all these historical figures. And my Madama Spirit was like, you should do the same thing with magical people. And so that's what I did, and talked about our, you know, contributions to spirituality. So that series is on a playlist if you guys are interested in watching, for those that didn't catch it. And that's the African American Tarot. Another forever deck for me is the Visions Quest. It's by AGM. It's a current deck that I'm using right now. I 1000% love it. It just really makes me feel so connected to my Taino, Arawak Indian heritage, and my practices. So really love this deck. I feel like this deck is very spiritual. This is, to me, I don't use it for predictive readings. I use this a lot for healings, like those healing, when I'm feeling emotional and I need like an uplifting message, even if it's not always the most positive message. This really puts me on check, this deck. And it's a very humbling, beautiful, high vibrational, loving deck. And I just completely love this deck. And this is the backs. And I saw this on someone else's YouTube channel. I cannot think of the name right now. She was doing an ancestor spread or something like that. And she only showed a few cards, and I ended up buying the deck. I've never heard of it prior to that video. And I usually don't impulse buy something like that. But this deck, since the day I've gotten it, has just spoken to me on such a deep level. Like, I completely love it. And then the next forever decks is going to be my Hanson Roberts. I recently switched it out for a new copy because the old copy was pretty messed up. So yeah, so this is a newer copy. I love it. This deck I completely love. There's nothing about this deck that I don't love. You know, yes, it lacks diversity, but it's an older deck. I don't, you know, hold it to the same standards. I consider this one like an OG, a classic. Completely love it. This one made me really not fear the devil card anymore, and kind of helped me to transition into Rider-Waite Smith and things like that. So completely love this deck, and it is definitely, oopsies, a forever deck. So yeah, this is a forever deck. and that's the Hanson Roberts Tarot. Don't see too many people talking about that one. Next one is, got a hair in my mouth, not cute. Oh my goodness, the Universal Weight. This one I switched out too. My original copy was busted, and I don't mind having, you know, like chip cards and stuff, but it was so old because it's my original copy that I've been having for so long. It was getting hard to shuffle it. It was bending, like it was looking like a hot mess. So I ended up getting another copy. This is the Universal Weight. It's like all new. I forgot how pretty these cards are when they're brand new. I love Pamela Coleman Smith so much. But anyway, so this, oh my goodness, how beautiful. Like, one of my favorite versions of our WS. Any Rider-Waite Smith version that I currently own is a forever, but I wanted to feature the Universal because it's the oldest one that I have. It's the most highly used deck that I had. So I'm like, you know, even though the original Tarot is my favorite version, this is the one that I've used the most. And so I'm like, I have to mention it. So Rider-Waite Smith is my deck. It's my baby. It's my baby. So I love it. And things like that. So love it, love it, love it. So, and this is the Universal Weight Tarot deck. And definitely a forever deck. Like, I completely love it. So, and just my Rider-Waite Smith decks, I love them. Even the least favorites, I love them, okay? So I wasn't gonna pull out every single Rider-Waite Smith version that I had. We'll be here all day. I've done a Rider-Waite Smith collection video. It's on my channel as well. The next one that's an OG that I was foolish enough to think that I was gonna get rid of. I've recently gotten a backup copy of this one, just in case, because this one's it's getting worn, it's getting there, but it's a working deck. The Hanson Roberts, the Morgan Greer, these are working decks, so you know you're gonna be more beat down than the other ones. But yeah, I love this deck. The coloring, just everything about it, everything about it. It's gorgeous. And this was one of my first decks, and you know, it was becoming a forgotten deck, but one of my favorite Three of Swords. Like, it's very Three of Swords. I love this Five of Swords too, but it's a gorgeous deck. I love the queens in this deck. She is gorgeousness, okay? She is a gorgeousness. And where is it? My favorite Nine of Pentacles lady, yes. And I actually love this Ten of Pentacles, and I usually don't like a lot of the Ten of Pentacles or the Ten of Cups in a lot of decks, but I do like the Ten of Pentacles in this one. So, but yeah, this is the Morgan Greer Tarot, and I love it so much that I have a backup copy of it, like I said, because that's how much I love it. Okay, and then last but not least in the category of forever decks, and this is another working deck of mine as well, is, oh my goodness, this deck was forgotten for a while. I recently have obtained a new copy of that one, but I want to show you how much, like, this is a beat up deck. This, she's beat. Let me look at her. Look at her. She's been through some things. Because no matter how much you try to take care of a deck, when a deck is highly used, it's going to eventually, so I'm going to keep this version, but I'm going to switch her out for the newer version. But yeah, she is beats. And I got this deck originally for client reads, and it was kind of glossy, and I ended up using it for myself. And this deck made me realize, like, it's nice to have decks for personal use, but then loved her so much, started using her again for client reads. And recently I have rediscovered her this month, and I'm like, yes, I love you and I want to read with you. And so much that I obtained a, look at this, look at this, look at that, look at that, a second copy of her, a newer version of her, because I'm like, this version, she needs to go to sleep. I'm gonna keep her. She's done her job, but yes, I assign genders and personalities to my decks. Some of them are neutral, some of them are masculine. This one feels very feminine. Um, yeah, see, like this world card, not my jam, but I get it. This is a pretty 10 of cups. But yeah, this deck is gorgeousness. It's the Thelema Tarot deck, or AKA Barbie deck. And even though it lacks diversity, this is before I had that. That wasn't a turn off back then, because I thought tarot only had Caucasian people in it. Until I actually started finding out that they did have some decks with diversity in it. So look at the backs of that. Look at the backs of that. Look at that. This is one of the first decks I ever owned. Like, this is an old deck. She's old. After about that first year when I had the couple of decks and things like that, I've been reading with her nonstop. And I do a lot of readings because I'm a professional reader. So I do a lot of readings every single day, 6 days a week. So she got a lot of usage. Like, I used her rough for about 6 years straight. So she's seen, yeah, this is what happens to your deck in 6 years when you read professionally. Anyways, on a full-time basis, okay? But yeah, so that's the Thelema Tarot. And again, I'm gonna switch her out for the new version. So those are my forever decks. And then we're gonna go into my forgotten, which isn't as bad as I thought. Okay, so the last of the categories is the forgotten. Decks that you don't necessarily, maybe you don't hate them, but for some reason they don't get as much usage, or you literally have forgotten that they even exist. This is a recently acquired deck, but it's not a favorite. Like, it was good and stuff like that, but I kind of forgot about it. Like, I loved it, I jived with it, and then it kind of just got put in the back burner. And I quickly switched it out because I ended up having other decks that I was excited to work with. And I got this also at a trade, as a New Era Elements Tarot. So even though I do have a love for this deck, and I think it's really great, and things like that, and it's a darker deck, so I think that's another reason why, like, with the current stuff that's going on right now, it isn't really an energy that I want to work with right now. Very shadowy. Some of these cards and things like that. I'm not showing those right now, but I'll give you an example. Trying to give you an example. Sorry. So, like I said, it has diversity in it. I kind of don't. I'm not crazy. Okay. So see, the Three of Swords. And it has like some animal things, and like the Devil card is a difficult card. You have the World Trade Center. So like it's a really yeah, it's a really like darker deck, which I don't have a problem with, but I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I haven't been currently working with it. It's a very intense deck, and it's the New Era Elements Tarot. So it's not necessarily that I'm going to get rid of it. I still love it, but it isn't something that I'm like working with. This deck I was excited to get because I saw it in a walkthrough on Ikali Sunflower's channel, and I love the concept of it. But for some reason, I rarely use this one, and it's the Modern Witch Tarot. I love the deck. The box is amazing. It has a little, in this case, blue book. Like, this is mass produced. I got it on Amazon. It's gorgeousness. It didn't cost a lot for a mass produced deck. It has an extra, everything's gonna be fine. I got an extra card with it. It has diversity. And I bought it for the purposes of making it a working deck and things like that. And I completely love it. It reads really well for me. It's gorgeous, like seriously. I like how it infuses the traditional symbology with modern day. It's very LGBTQIA plus friendly and things like that. There are some gender neutral court cards. There is masculine energy, feminine energy, all different body shapes and sizes and everything else. The only problem I have with this deck is the thickness of the cardstock. I know that some people consider this really good cardstock. I read professionally, so this doesn't work for me, and I don't shuffle my cards. Overhand shuffle is something that I absolutely will not do. People are paying me for time sessions, so me having to divide this in half and get a good shuffle on it, it's going to be more me shuffling the cards than actually reading you. And I think that's like a waste of your money that you're paying for. So I ended up using it for myself. And I think that's cool. So I think that's what I'm going to use it for, one card pulls and things like that. I won't even use this as like a working deck in the sense of readings for myself because the cardstock is absolutely too thick. And again, I'm not an overhand shuffler. So for me, and that's just me personally, cardstock that's this thick is not good cardstock for me because I don't find it workable. I like more flexible, thinner cardstock that I could rifle shuffle and things like that. So just, it's not my thing. Okay. I unpaused it. I couldn't be sorry. I thought anyways. I was like, not 42 minutes and I was like, okay. So I did it. So anyway, the last deck that I was, because the little blue book fell and I was like, no. So I love this deck and I'm going to try to work with it more. I think it's just like I have to get over the cardstock and just like work with it for myself, but kind of like maybe I'll just use it for like a one card pull and put it into that type of rotation. So I possibly will be looking into kind of using this deck more. This one is also kind of a forgotten right now too. I was really excited when I first got it, but I think I hate the white book so much. It's absolutely gorgeous. And reads really well for me. I have a connection with it, absolutely. I think this one is an unintentional forgotten because of the new decks that I have. And you know, when you get a new deck, you kind of get all excited about it. And I love this deck, but my favorite is actually the African American Tarot and the Orisha Tarot, which gets more use than this one. So I'm going to try to use this deck more because I definitely want to keep it in my collection. Or maybe it just needs to sleep for a while and she'll start really singing to me again because I feel like kind of disconnected from this deck right now. The same way, so I don't know. And maybe that'll happen with the Modern Witch Tarot and the... So I don't want to get rid of these decks necessarily, but they're kind of like... they've been kind of shelved and kind of just brought to be, you know, just kind of, let's just sit you down kind of thing and just kind of push to the side and things like that. Okay, this deck is not even supposed to be here, so we're going to move on. And then this one is my Brute Tarot. and it's a playing card. And this is one of my newer decks. I got a great reading with it. Love that it's like regular, just playing cards in the shape of tarot cards, and it has illustrated major arcana cards. And so I've been trying to play with her, and well, this one feels like a guy. Play with him. And it does read well for me. I really like it. I'm not like in love with it. So I'm thinking just kind of to put it to the side and kind of just give it time. Maybe it's not our time together. I could read. I'm very good at reading playing cards, so I don't think that's what it is. I just think that with all the new decks I have, especially in that kind of thing, I think this one just got kind of lost. So I think I'm going to put it on my rotation and possibly work with it, because looking at it now, I'm kind of wanting to work with it more. I literally did one reading with it, didn't even put it back in its order like I usually do. I was meaning to put it back in order and ended up forgetting about it. So I think I'm going to give this one, put it into my rotation and give it more of a fair shot. But in all fairness, it is a newer deck, and I have, you know, I've kind of been playing with the other decks and things like that. So, but yeah, so I bought this deck for eventually using it for client reads. So, but I want to connect with it more, journal with it more, and things like that. I think some decks you're just slower with connecting, and then sometimes you put them away, and then years later they might talk to you. I've had people say that. So the Brute deck or the Brute Tarot might be one of those. I saw Juliana Victoria show this one, and I was like, I want it. So it's also a indie deck. So yeah, so that concludes my favorites, forevers, and forgotten decks, tarot edition. I will be in the future, and it will be shorter, I promise. I don't have as much oracle decks, but I am glad I kept it separate, because like this is a long video. I don't really do long videos, but I'm going to do an oracle version of that one as well. It'll probably be shorter because I have less oracle decks. But this was a really great tag. It was really fun. It actually has lifted my mood. And if you stay tuned this long, thank you so much for watching. And until the next video, if you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, shamanic@priestess.com. I do psychic readings. I do psychic mediumship. I am also a root worker, a shaman, a healer. So I do various spell works, various rituals, and things like that. I have a video that I talk about the different types of spells that I do. I also offer soul retrievals and things like that. And I do all types of root work, all kinds of spells. I work both the left and right-handed path, move light and shadow. So I am a two-headed doctor, meaning that I do baneful magic as well as healing magic. I know how to bless and hex and curse and all these kinds of things. Of course, hexing, cursing when it's justified. But yes, I believe in all of it. I believe this, we have to walk in both darkness and light. It is the way that is balanced. The world is that way. So much love, much light, much blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis for any of the services that I mentioned, shamanic@priestess.com. The link is in the description box. And please, if you're going to email me, let it be for business inquiries only. My emails get very full, and your email might get lost in the shuffle, because I'm attending to business clients or potential clients first, and then I mean to like message other people, and then they get lost. So it's just better to leave comments in the comment section of the YouTube videos. That way, you know, I do answer those comments and things like that. So yeah, if you just want to make a comment on the video, just use the description, the comment section. Please use it, because a lot of people have way more comments than mine on my videos, but I get a lot of people saying they love my videos, but they email me the comments, and I'm like, put it on the description box so YouTube can see that people actually like my videos, and I can get more money out of monetization. Anyways, so thumbs up, and like I said, please subscribe and comment below, because if I don't have a lot of comments on videos, it's like, do I ever want to make a video? I'm like wasting my day off, you know, that kind of thing. So I tag everyone who's watching this video to make a VR to this if you haven't, because I'm really interested And I've watched all the ones that I got suggested. So I don't know if a lot of people did this tag or not, but it was done like 7 months ago. It was like an older tag. And I kept meaning to do it, but then for some reason I didn't. Please, I tag all you guys that are watching, whether it's in the comment section, you tell me if you do have any type of tarot decks or whatever, or make a video. I want to watch it. Like, I love this types of videos as well. Much love, much light, much blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video. And until the next video, guys. Bye.